Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Raad Life, where midlife reinvention, culture, anything that I'm friggin' interested in as I get older basically gets showcased, because guess what? It's my show, my name's on the marquee, and that's what I get to do. Just a little bit of, not housekeeping, but just kind of catching you up if you haven't been paying attention in the last few months, is I almost shelved this show after doing it for 10 years. And decided not to, but that was part of my midlife reinvention kind of thing. I turned 60 last January. I don't feel 60. I weigh the way I weighed 15 years ago. You know, I feel healthier, more invigorated. But I was at a crossroads. I was like, what to do? And I guess I'm a product of my generation, an 80s Gen X kind of person. And one of the things that basically unify us, not a lot of things do, because we don't get marketed to, because we have so many different personalities. If you don't believe me, go watch Breakfast Club. Tell me how many personalities are in that cast. Easier to market to boomers, easier to market to millennials. But one thing that we do have as Gen Xers, we're resilient. We've reinvented so many times we can't even remember how many times we've reinvented, and we're still here, man, and we are not basically going quietly into the good night. So I decided to keep the show. We even expanded it into a magazine. If you're interested to find out more, go to theradlife.com, THERAADLIFE.com. Check out the podcasts. We've elevated them to a different level since we've been doing it for 10 years. It was time. There's articles in there you might enjoy. There's a digital magazine that's there too. If you want a hard copy, let me know. I'll send you one. And there's some reading recommendations that you might find helpful, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm basically reinventing my life at 60, at midlife. You might find some resources in there that could be handy. With that being said, today, readers, today, we are welcome to the Raad Life Podcast. We're celebrating reinvention, inspiration, right? But we're diving deeper into the world of music and memory and pure 80s magic. In fact, if you've been paying attention, our 80s music is being reused now and being rediscovered by millennials and Gen Zers. Yep. And, you know, it was a little infuriating until I basically felt like, you know, it's complimentary. When I walked into a dentist's office and you know, I heard Nirvana or you know, Georgia Satellites or something playing on the friggin', you know, PA system. Not exactly dental music, but
elevator music.
Elevator music. Our generation is now elevator music. But it's being remixed. And so my guest today is Scott Tucker, a veteran promoter, manager, and all-around force of alternative music scene. Scott spent decades working behind the curtain of concerts and festivals, bringing incredible lineups to life. And now he's the mastermind behind an upcoming 80s Rewind Festival in Huntington Beach this September. In fact, a week from this coming Saturday, the 27th, it will be taking place in Huntington Beach, right off Golden West, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
We said,
yep,
Scott?
Correct.
It's a celebration of some of the greatest alternative bands of the decade, and that defined our generation, especially locally. So we'll talk about how the festival came together, why the 80s still resonate so deeply, like we said, outside the dental offices too, and what it takes to pull an event of this scale together, because it's not no small undertaking. So dust off your vintage band tees. I just went black. Didn't want to show
matching.
Yeah, we're matching. We didn't want to show favoritism for any particular band or not. But I will say one of the things that I enjoyed the most, which it was a little earlier than the 80s, is I got a chance to take my nephew to see the Eagles at the Sphere.
Oh, at the Sphere? Nice.
And before that, I had a chance to celebrate going to the Eagles with three friends of mine from high school. One who flew in from Saudi Arabia and one who flew in from Dubai, and a guy that lives in Marina del Rey. We're all friends in high school. We went and saw them at the Sphere earlier in the year. And then I took my nephew to Santana because he shocked the heck out of me and said, oh yeah, I like Santana, when I was telling his father that Santana was still touring. And we enjoyed it at the Forum.
That's awesome.
So yes, definitely a rite of passage. I don't have kids of my own, but this was almost like the same as teaching my son how to shave. It was like, here, let's go listen to Santana.
My nephew comes to shows and has worked for me, and we go to concerts, so I get the feeling.
Yeah, it was very cool to kind of pass that on as a legacy. So Like I said, dust off your vintage band tees and get ready. This episode's all about music, memories, and the movement that never went away. Scott, welcome to the Raad Life.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you being here. I know that you're a busy guy, especially with this thing just around the corner. So tell people about yourself, about your journey in the music industry and how you got started. You've worn many hats. I touched a little bit on that, right? Promoter, manager, curator. So give us a little bit of background.
Didn't know what I wanted to do. Was a country western DJ up in Red Bluff, California. Do you know where Red Bluff is?
I do.
Okay, some people don't. And
Tell people where it is in reference to.
Well, if you know where Redding, California is, they drive from Red Bluff to go have fun on Friday nights in Redding. Yeah. So it's definitely not the biggest town, but it's about 45 minutes north of Chico. I was a country western DJ up there. Then I came down here. I worked for a small independent label called Dr. Dream Records that was a Orange County label not far from here in Orange. Cadillac Tramps came out of there and some other bands.
I had Brian Coakley in the magazine.
I cut my teeth with the Tramps and the Swamp Zombies and the Ziggins and stuff like that. Carrying gear and going to swap meets and worked for people like Maurice Torres from the Grabbers and Manic Hispanic, and he's still doing music. And then became a promoter at a place called Club 5902, and then went over to Tiki Bar and Club Mesa, all of which were kind of the punk rock scenes from the day. And from there I just spent a lot of time doing band shows. Started doing some festivals a while back. Something called the SoCal Hoedown recently, last couple of years. Last one was in 2021 with the Horror Pops, and we had headliners like Suicidal Tendencies, Necromantics. We had the Blasters out there, the Tramps. It was all genres. We had Fishbone playing on the same stage as Suicidal.
So what is it about the music that you think basically still resonates? I mean, obviously for us, it's a rite of passage, especially if you're local and you have a connection with that. Yeah. You've seen these bands kind of grow on local scene and then get blow up on larger stages. But what do you think it is about the music in general? I mean, music is an amazing medium to begin with, right? I mean, I keep reminding people that, even in, and I don't mean to harp on age thing, but even in like facilities where basically you have memory care and things like that, music and smell, those are very powerful reference points for people from a positive perspective. And it could easily be negative, right? I mean, people. I just came back from Baja, and we had a little session where we basically picked music. And what it, like a reference point and what it meant, and as a reflection of where you're at in life or how it's been meaningful. And I actually said I'm not a big hair band guy, but I always resonated with Whitesnake. Here I Go Again on my own in certain parts of my life, and there's other songs that have different meanings for me in different parts of my life. So what is it about the music, especially with the 80s, that is so strong? And it not only from a rewind like what you're doing, the 80s rewind that you're doing for this festival, what is it do you think that has that hold on people?
Well, with the 80s, I think what you said about being 60 and not feeling it, I mean, I'm 57 and I don't feel it either. I think that our generation is the first one that really kind of fought that ageism thing. And, you got 60-year-olds walking around thinking they're 40.
Right.
So they still want to go to concerts. They still want to go out. Howard Jones played last night with Haircut 100. It was almost packed. On a Thursday night, the old people were still going out. So, it is what it is. Any kind of music just resonates, and it's emotion. It's brings you back to some time. There's always a certain time that it brings you back to, or a memory. Going to therapy. I mean, Muse Autism is our partner, and they do therapy, musical therapy with autistic people all the time, and it really helps to cut through any disability at all. It's a great equalizer.
Well, music has always been referred to as like universal language in a way, right? Yeah. And then in some cases, I mean, I was fascinated. Like I was referring to this thing where we were all just sitting around, basically trying to suggest what music was meaningful for us and why. And I was astounded because one of the people actually picked a Brahms, right? And it wasn't a lyrics-based song or anything like that, but it was Hungarian Rhapsody or Hungarian Movement, I think it is. And it was very emotional and very powerful, but it was not lyric-based, and it was more the beat-based.
Yeah.
And so, because sometimes, I think maybe I tend to sometimes dismiss the fact that music is meaningful for every generation. But again, I have an affinity for the 80s and, everything actually from late 60s all the way to early 90s. Maybe.
Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner.
Absolutely. I mean, CCNR, like you name it, it's great. But it seems like our music is actually continuing to be resonating. It continues to be finding a new audience. So with your promotion of this festival, are you noticing that there is a range of people that it's appealing to from a generational perspective or an age perspective?
Not just with this festival, but yeah, I mean, if you're 45, 50 and you have teenage kids, they grew up listening to your record collection.
Sure, I did the same with my dad.
There's a band playing tomorrow called The Reflex. By the time this airs, the show will be over. But, they're a great cover band. And I've been to their shows and seen high school kids or, 20-year-olds. And you're like kind of thrown back by it. But then you realize their parents are 50 years old. And, they pinched, a Breakfast Club copy or whatever and realized the music was good. Just like the Stones went to Muddy Waters or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
the influences for those bands were basically
correct.
I said to you, like one of the song that I picked was Whitesnake, right? Here I Go Again. But it was interesting. It was tough for me because it was between that and Frank Sinatra, My Way.
Great song.
Right? Because I grew up basically listening to those on LPs from my dad.
I like Dean Martin, King of the Road.
Oh, well, Dean look, we can talk for hours about this. Dean never got his due. As far as I'm concerned, the man was just amazing.
I'm a Rat Packer.
Yeah. And Sammy got his channel. Frank definitely, got the chairman thing. But Dean, to me,
he liked it in the back of the room.
Exactly.
With a glass.
Yeah, he was. It's the same like if you look at these, we go a little classical or like tenors, right? You got Pavarotti, you got Domingo, and I always liked the depth of voice from Pavarotti. It was just a little more expressive.
Is there a third one?
Yeah, there is. There's.
I can't remember his name.
Oh,
didn't mean to throw you.
No. There is a third one. It'll come to me. I'll remember.
Okay.
But yeah, and. It's the same like with instruments. Like I find affinity with a saxophone and a guitar because saxophone to me is the closest thing to an expression of breath from somebody that I can hear.
Right?
Or like I like to listen to books that are narrated by the author because it's actually closer to the soul of what was being written.
You feel the emotion of it, yeah.
Right, exactly. So that music to me is the same way, and I find myself gravitating to different kinds of music in the course of a day, depending on my mood.
Oh, 100%.
Like, what do you listen to first thing in the morning?
Well, first thing in the morning is the news and bad TV, but then
well, and then what music do you need to actually get past that?
Well, I mean, it just depends on what's going on. If I'm driving down the freeway, I'm not blasting Pennywise. It's more of Dean Martin or the Rolling Stones or things to keep me from road raging on the guy next to you. If I'm cooking dinner with my friends, it's going to be the 70s Rolling Stones and and stuff along that. It just depends on what's going on. My Spotify and my Pandora go from slightly stupid to punk rock to heavy metal like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest to Dean Martin and Sinatra. It's all over the map. So it just really kind of directs your mood and what's going on.
How do you feel? I want to get into this. Like, what pulled you into sort of alternative music? What was it that inspired you to go there to begin with? But how do you feel about the fact that people like the Stones, they're still touring?
Oh, I think it's great.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
It's very cool that that's the case. Like, I don't remember. I mean, yeah, you had some of the crooners and stuff that continued into later life, basically having a career, right? But I don't.
Blues guys especially.
Right? But I don't recall such a vast array of people continuing to do this.
Well, I don't want to name names, but some of these 80s stars are,
It's
in
time
their
to go.
70s. No, not time to go, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying they're still pulling it off.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You know?
Like, I don't ever recall previously where you had this range of people
Right.
that are still doing it at this point. I mean, I mentioned to you, and I think I just mentioned about taking my nephew to Santana, right? Dude, the guy
Is a machine.
was a machine.
Yeah.
He played the whole concert, then canceled, and then I find out later that he canceled his appearance in Vegas because he had to have back surgery. And it explained why he was leaning against a stand-up stool for the whole
90
time.
minutes.
But he was shredding it. I mean, it was mind-blowing, this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if there's an explanation. I don't know if it's financial. I don't know if it's the love of the music. I don't know what the reasoning is, but you're right. There is a longevity in the industry now.
Yeah, I mean, who the heck thought that the Eagles were gonna be the headliners at the friggin' Spear for as long as they did, and I kept telling people, don't miss it, and then here they go releasing more dates,
right,
more dates and more dates. I mean, that's astounding, and I will tell you, they still have some dates. But they're really like almost at the end. So if you ever want to see the Eagles, go to the friggin' Sphere.
And this is a band that two old guys grew up listening to in high school.
Yeah.
So that does say something. Yeah.
Yeah. And I listened to them, and I'll give a shout out to my friend Louie's brother, who came back from Carbondale, Illinois. Okay, from overseas, where I was living overseas, and he brought LPs with him, and that was my introduction to Billy Joel and the Eagles. Nice. And AC/DC, the Black Album. I mean, that was my introduction. So to be able to then basically repeat that, we're all kind of crowding over a record player listening to the Eagles, California album, to then basically seeing it digitally remastered on a friggin' huge wall with friends of mine. Yeah. That is an experience that you can't put a value on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have some great stuff on vinyl, but I still have some 8-tracks.
I can't claim that, Scott, but I have every single 45 and every single LP I ever bought.
Nice.
I still have them, and I pulled out an old, an actually new record player. And then my friend basically said, no. And he got a vintage
one because you want to hear
an old speaker.
Yeah, you want to hear the grooves. You want to hear the
right.
Yeah.
And then my dad, God rest his soul, he had bought a Pioneer stack system. So even though we constantly are trying to adjust the wires to make sure that we still have a connection between the turntable and the thing, the fact that I'm using my dad's stack system with my friend's vintage thing and playing records that I basically bought when I was in my 20s, right? There's a richness of experience in that's tactile, that's really cool.
Are you the new CB radio guy? Like
no.
The ham radio?
No, I never got into CB radio.
No. Remember, like that was like that's what the equivalent is. It's our pulling out our vinyl and playing it on a original, not something you bought at Target now, is the equivalent of trying to get the the channel on a ham radio or playing with a reel-to-reel, which I learned how to do.
I wish I still had my dad's reels.
Yeah.
Where you literally had, there was no making a playlist on Spotify. You were basically splicing music and recording it. So you had these big, huge reels. So when you had a dinner party or something, this thing was playing.
Making a playlist was literally sitting there with the cassette recorder, waiting for the song to come on.
You were hot shit if you had the two decks. Remember?
I know.
Yeah, and we're making mixtapes, and that's how we were expressing emotionally. And you're handing them over to girlfriends and trying to endear yourself to people.
100%.
Yeah, that's kind of cool to reminisce about, because
that's what these. Sorry to interrupt, but that's what these 80s shows bring you back to, when you're running a company or your kids are going off to college.
Yeah,
that's what it does. It brings you and I don't have 3 kids but our friends all do.
Yeah,
and that's what it does. It really I apologize for cutting you off there. But
no, you're totally fine, Scott. This is very organic. I love this.
That is what it is. You asked what drove me to it.
Yeah,
it's seeing that look on someone's face.
So you feel it's a part of like legacy that you're passing on, almost like a purpose.
Well, I mean, whatever the show is. I mean, I'm doing the Reverend Horton Heat Rock Psychobilly tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing people stand for an hour and a half, 2 hours for the band to come on, singing every song. I don't even want to stand, in the same spot for that long getting drinks, but these people are just dedicated, and it reminds you why you why you started in any kind of industry.
Right. And like I started off when I was saying, like I basically almost canned this whole thing, right? And then trying to find purpose in something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
And rejuvenating that curiosity. I think I totally hear where you're coming from, my friend. I really do. So Huntington Beach, which is where this location, again, for people that were maybe just tuning in now or whatever, it's actually happening on the 27th of September, which is a week from Saturday. Today is Friday. It's a week from Saturday in Huntington Beach, right off Golden West. Huntington Beach seems like a really cool location to do this. Why Huntington Beach? Why did you pick the location?
I was born and raised there. The location is 2 miles from my house. I've done shows in Vegas. I've done shows in San Diego. I've done shows in San Pedro, driving back and forth. And the Huntington Beach Sports Complex is city-owned, but managed by a couple of people, Christina and Matt, and they're really trying to get it built as an event space. Hosting craft beer festivals with Rip Beer, hosting food and wine experiences, things like that. So I became familiar with them and pitched the idea of doing something a little bit larger. And they said, let's do it. And the city seems to be okay with it. So if I don't have to drive 45 minutes to San Pedro to do a concert, I'm pretty happy with myself.
Right. I mean, that I think reactivating places like that we normally don't think of in terms of this communal gathering.
Right.
It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
It's really a cool thing.
Creating a multi-use for something, that it's a practice field, it's a softball field, it's a soccer field, but it can be used for other things. And what's better than sitting in the grass on a great day with some great music playing and food trucks and retail vendors. We've got a car show from Surf City VWs, so some classic VWs are going to be out there. Not a lot of stuff, but it's not a circus, but it's definitely a cool day in the sun, and it's gonna be 74 degrees. It's a beautiful day, 2 miles from the beach, so you get the breeze still.
I'll tell you, if my '64 T-Bird convertible is out of the garage, I will bring it over. That sounds like a beautiful way to spend a Saturday. What's the time?
It goes from noon to 10.
Okay.
So at noon we open up, and there's a craft beer experience you can purchase, which is almost 20 breweries going to be poured for a little bit extra ticket. And you don't have to just drink beer. There's a full bar as well. But there's going to be a great band, Flashback Heart Attack, playing, and they're a cover band who has backed up every star there is. They're going to be playing for a couple hours. Then we've got some special guests coming up. Gary Myrick, She Talks in Stereo, Tim Polecat. We've got Clive Farrington, Win in Rome. The Promise is one of the most covered songs ever. He's got a new band. He's going to play a couple songs. And then we go into Missing Persons and Naked Eyes, Gene Loves Jezebel with the original singer Jay Aston. He's out here from England.
Very cool.
We got Tom Bailey from the Thompson Twins. We've got Annabella and Bow Wow Wow and Men Without Hats. Great band. Got to meet them a while back, and I got to recently tour with them. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun day. Just, I really feel happy with the lineup we have.
How did you pick the lineup? Was there a logic to your lineup, or is this just connections? Or?
Who was available at the time, honestly, and it's how a lot of things
shake out. So that's sort of a part of the biggest challenge of basically lining up, configuring the lineup. When did you start putting this together?
If you're going behind the scenes, which I think you are, like what goes into
I'd like people to know, because people just show up and enjoy it, but there's a lot of effort that goes into putting this together.
You could pick a date and see who's available, or you could pick a lineup and find a date that fits that. We are building a venue out of nothing. So just like if we were to come and shut down 4th Street in Santa Ana, which I've done prior to this, we're bringing in the staging, we're bringing in the lighting, we're bringing in generators, we're bringing in everything. And
the venue is not really set up for that currently.
Well, it's a soccer field,
right? Yeah.
So we're really bringing in everything, and it's not like going to to the House of Blues or the Observatory and saying,
plug and play.
Yeah, I want to. You walk out on a stage that's already set with seats. So, the challenge is finding a date that works, the lineup that you feel works, and going from there.
And how for some of these bands, I mean, do you, again, just to stay on the behind the scenes aspect of it, there's also the logistics, like, of booking them, right? And transportation and all of this stuff. So is that part of the logistics that you handle as well, or are they all like kind of doing their own thing, or it's a combination?
They mostly do their own thing.
Okay.
Tom Bailey's coming out from England. His tour manager and management take care of everything. There's a lot of people that live in the LA area. We're fortunate. We don't live in Cincinnati where we have to beg people to come out. We can literally call people who live in Tahunga and San Diego and say, hey, you could be home tonight in bed after performing.
Right.
So we're lucky. We're really lucky with that.
Has that changed? I mean, you've been involved in this industry sort of, like I said, in different hats that you weren't, right, for a while. Has it changed over time from now? How
accessible people are?
Well, and the promotion aspect of it too.
Well, promotion's changed, yeah. I mean, there's Instagram and Facebook, which we never had. But I got forgetful of how much an actual flyer does, and you got to do everything. I call it shotgun marketing.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to hit the bird, but you really got to, if you're firing with a 9mm, you got to be really good. And you're in marketing, you're not sure what's going to happen so you guess. So I used to do print media with the LA Weekly and OC Weekly, but we're doing radio, we're doing flyers, we're doing social media. So it's really not as different as it was back in the 90s or whatever.
Just do whatever you can to get
social media has added an aspect, but it hasn't made it actual street marketing invalid.
Well, I was going to ask you, because it sounds to me like, especially with social media, it's almost like a necessary evil to do, but it doesn't mean that it necessarily resonates as far as traction or turnover or leading to something. It's something that you have to do to cover that channel.
Yeah.
And something of this nature, I would think that there's the sort of the flyer and the tactile and the stuff almost has an authenticity to it that basically lends itself maybe a little bit too in terms of credibility. Like if I'm of that generation and I see somebody having a flyer out there, it's going to basically resonate with me a little bit more maybe than if I just happen to see it quickly in passing on Instagram. For example.
Well, social media is great because when you're relaxing, cocktail in your hand, you're in the back seat. The backyard rather, or you're sitting at your favorite bar. You can.
It's coming to
relax.
you. It's coming to you versus you having to find it.
The ticket link is right there on your phone. However, it doesn't necessarily hit everybody, and sometimes you just got to get out in the streets, whether it's hiring a team or doing it yourself. Go to the concert. Get the people that are your like-minded customer and hit them. Just like putting one brand of chips next to another brand of chips.
Right. So with that being said, are you finding that, like, first of all, how many? Let's start with this. If people are listening to us right now and they want to find out more information, is there a place that they can go right now while we're talking?
OCRewindFest.com.
OCRewindFest.com.
Yep, has all the information. All the set times will be up next by this time this airs, but it's got frequently asked questions. It's got directions. It's got everything. Artwork for
they get their tickets through there.
Everything.
Okay. What's the tickets going for?
I mean, general admission, I'm trying to keep it cheap, so it's $50, and then VIP is $75.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep it as cheap. I was trying to keep it reasonable, so that
cost effective to get more access.
Well, I think that in this economy, you really have to.
Yeah, you're being sensitive to that too.
Yeah, I don't want people to have to. They're going to pick and choose. But I want them to say, well, I can also do this. I'm going to go to the Cruel World. I'm going to go to the Billy Idol. But this isn't that much to add on, so I'll go to this as well.
Right.
So that's the mindset.
Right, and it's like you said, with the time duration that you're saying is like from 12. You said 12 to 10, right?
12 to 10.
Yeah, I mean that's an amazingly good value for entertainment, and you can start off with beer. So
it's got a full bar. We've got non-alcoholics, food trucks. So yeah, it's a definitely a good value.
What any of the bands that are in the lineup that you personally have strong connection with?
Yeah. Annabelle Lewin, I just saw her today. We did the Heidi and Frank show.
Yeah.
Really, really great woman. Dog and cat, animal lover, not dog and cat lover, animal lover. Dale Bozio and the whole band of Missing Persons, love them. They're great guys. Been working with them for a little bit. Clive and me have become friends. I've become friends with quite a few of these guys.
Yeah.
And that makes going to work a little bit nicer.
So do you have a particular concert that's or experience that's unforgettable for you?
You know, honestly, I was thinking about that earlier, and
Either as a fan or a promoter. I mean, just
seeing a cool band or a great band in a small venue. 86, I got to see Slayer in a 200-person room. Green Day played the Tiki Bar 5, 7, 8 years ago. You know, stuff like that. You know, when you hear the Foo Fighters just played the Observatory, or the theater up in NorCal that held 900 people, you know, because they want to break in their new drummer. That's an experience. It's not something that resonates specifically like, oh, that one show, but honestly, yeah, that's
like
that's
a special
the cool
moment. I can't believe I'm here actually experiencing
if you could go see a great band, somebody you either know is going to be the next big thing,
I get it.
or a Green Day showing up at the Tiki Bar,
I totally get it.
you turn around and go, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
I totally get it. If you could go back in the day and attend a particular 80s concert day.
Us Festival.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like 13 and 14 and didn't make it. I was going to go, and for some reason just, you know, nobody wanted to go or whatever, but yeah, Us Festival would be it.
And I was like, should have done that.
Well, now, and like, you know, Dale Bozio sends me Missing Persons footage of them at the Us Festival, you know, one night, and I'm just watching going like,
That's pretty fun.
it's amazing. You know, watching Terry Bozio bang away on the drums, but, you know, she was a bombshell in the day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are you hoping, Scott, that people that attend the 80s Rewind walk away with?
That was
We touched a little bit on it.
Just that was a fun day. Let's do this again. And when they see the name, they want to, come back, and it builds. You know, I mean, people just need to have outlets, and I don't see a lot of that in SoCal as much. There's a lot of stuff going on.
It's a little bit more canned, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's just, it's either a free show in the park that the county puts on, or a really expensive show, but I don't see anything really in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even the same of what we're talking about, but I know that Costa Mesa has their summer thing that they do in the OC Fairgrounds, kind of, right? But it's not the same. I'm actually really looking forward to this a lot.
Thank you.
Are you hoping that this actually turns into sort of an annual event?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, the SoCal Hoedown that I started out as the Horton's Hayride with the Reverend Horton Heat. Me and management had an issue, but we did 4 years of the SoCal Hoedown and 2 of the Horton's Hayride. So, yes, an annual event would be something that would be great.
It sounds like the venue that you're kind of developing with the sports park has potential for that capacity.
Tons of potential. I mean, you could fit, if you were to use the entire space, I mean, 100,000 people could fit on it.
Right.
It's the size of, a small park. The city, again, I grew up in Huntington Beach in Fountain Valley.
Yeah.
So the city, to me, it's hometown pride. And if we can build something that is not being overtaken by the big corporates, I want to do it.
Yeah, that grassroots component, I think, is part of that original experience. If back in the day, there was still a little bit of authenticity and closer to the core.
Yeah.
That then got basically commercialized and corporate wise.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes this appealing to me too, because you're literally closer to the source, almost, and everybody, it sounds like that's performing, is also coming at it from that perspective of authenticity.
Yeah.
So it's going to come across. So make sure you get your tickets, because something like this, sometimes the original start point is so memorable that even as over time, and you and I have been in situations
right.
where over time, as it becomes a repetitive thing, an annual event, it changes in its nature because the scalability, the logistics start to take on a little bit more of a foundationally structured format. But there's something about a kind of thrown together rewind that has almost like a street party, block party feel to it somehow that really builds that resonance. I mean, think about Woodstock, right? Just people just showed up and basically people played, and the authenticity of the experience, along with everything else that they dropped, right, was just unique to that particular time that it took place. So make sure you get your tickets for this thing. It's a week from tomorrow. I'll be there. Come say hi. And what else? What's after this festival, Scott? What you got? You got other stuff that you're working on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm booking shows at the Garden Amphitheater over here in Garden Grove. Got some great shows coming up. Just go to gardenamp.com. Tiki Bar, tikibaroc.com. There's some great bands that go through there, not just local bands, touring bands. Mm-hmm. Some really great rock and roll, 80s, punk, everything. I
sound like you're really enjoying what you're doing still.
Yeah, I mean, my dad, I booked a punk rock golf tournament called the Punk Rock Prom with 91X. My dad golfed in it. If you want to talk about experiences that were memorable, my dad golfing with Greg Hedson from Bad Religion or Trey Cool from Green Day. Or the Cottonmouth Kings. Yeah. To be honest with you, my dad looked at the Cottonmouth Kings and said, "I like those guys. They're frugal. They're rolling their own cigarettes."
How did that feel for you?
It was funny. I mean, they're smoking joints, but my dad said they were saving $1 by rolling their own cigarettes. So and everybody thinks if your parents are there, how great is that? So when my mom comes to a show now, at the Garden Amp, and there's a punk rock band sound checking. Or a blues band. Her birthday party, I took her to see Big Bad Voodoo Daddy that I booked. So
that sounds like a fun time.
The bands want to come over and hang out with my mom.
Yeah,
it's great. It's really cool.
Yeah. And so let's give people again the website,
ocrewindfest.com,
and about finding out about more of the other stuff that you're working on. Do you have a place otherwise?
I don't know. There's no company website right now. Basically, just go to the venues that I named, and I'll link you to all of them as well.
Yeah, we'll share that. We'll share that when we post this. We'll be posting it probably no later than Monday. So get on there, man. Get your tickets. Schedule it. It sounds like a blast. Definitely something that you don't encounter every day. And
that's the hope.
Yeah, I think, you know what? Let's just hope for the best in a way.
I'm saying, like, the hope is that people walk away from it. You asked earlier, what they want to. I want them to walk away and say that was a really fun day. When you go to a restaurant, if you have a great meal, you don't really care what it cost. You walk away with a great experience. Yeah, and that's really what I want this to be.
Well, it is all about the experience. I mean, And you could listen to these same bands on Spotify. You could listen to them to everything else, but it's not the same experience.
Talking about that, the oldies station that we laughed at, K-Earth, come on, they're playing Nirvana, they're playing The Clash, they're playing hip hop.
I miss some of the programming, man.
K-Earth is playing all these bands, mm-hmm. As well as they're playing Ice Cube. Mm-hmm. So mm-hmm. Our generation has definitely grown into that market, but we're not old. And that's the thing is I think that's the difference. We have a lot of life left in our generation, and I think that things like this is what keeps that going. Well,
and thank God for that, man, because we have a lot of years ahead of us.
Right.
Right. I mean, I keep talking about this.
Hopefully.
I mean, you're not guaranteed tomorrow, right?
Right.
But if you think about it, in a way, as a generation, we probably are the first to actually have this much span of time that we basically need to really embrace.
Yeah.
And I don't think characteristic wise we as a generation, yes, we have highs and lows and peaks and valleys and all this stuff, but like I said, we're resilient. We embrace reinvention and empowerment through that. And when we're doing something that's really we're grooving with and we're really connected to, I think we are fired up.
Yeah. And I like that reinvention idea because that is what you need to do in order to not stagnate.
Right.
You really need to, you know, find new interests or whatever, or reevaluate the old ones and bring them back.
Right.
I think that's what things like this are great for.
Yeah.
The Who's playing tonight. The Stones, like you said, are still on tour.
Yeah.
Revisiting your youth is a great way to go about that.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily nostalgia. I mean, I think a lot of people mistake it with being nostalgia. It's not necessarily nostalgia. It has roots in your past.
Yeah.
But you're basically experiencing it with another layer, maybe of appreciation now.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Then you didn't do the first
You're
time.
not a 16-year-old,
Right.
Checking your bank account to see if you can afford another beer.
Right.
So as an adult with a job and a house, seeing these bands in a great environment, yeah, it's definitely a new experience. And I see that on people a lot.
Well, I appreciate you being here, Scott. I mean, as we were wrapping up, I think nothing speaks to the fact that what we're talking about as being the Raad Life, the journey of reinvention, especially like at midlife or honestly any time of life when you ever basically hit a little snag or something, but the empowerment, the sense of ownership on your own terms of doing this, like you are. Right, where you're basically still living life on your own terms, doing something that you enjoy with all the highs and the lows that come with that, but they're yours. And the freedom, honestly, that comes from that is amazing. So
when you do something, whatever it is, if you're working at McDonnell Douglas and you see a rocket launch, or if you're doing a concert, or if you are racing in the Baja 1000, when you see something that you did from start to finish, it's a great feeling, and that goes to all industries.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you being on, like I said, and I look forward to a successful rocket launch on the 27th.
We'll have a drink on Saturday the 27th.
Absolutely. Count me in. And again, go get your tickets now and make sure you're there. You don't want to miss this and hear about it later. Like we said, it's like a concert that you want to look back and go, oh, I was there, versus, God, I wish I had gotten there. Yep. Make the time. It sounds like it's something that's multi-generational sharing. So bring your kids, bring your parents. Again, you'll be around people that have experienced these bands before. You may be experiencing them for the first time, but in a communal component that basically will enrich the experience for everybody that's there.
And they still sound great too. Thompson Twins, Tom Bailey sounds amazing. Annabella, her voice is great.
Yeah.
Clive Farrington's got a great stage presence. I mean, it's really actually, kind of cool to see that these guys have the chops still.
I don't think I have anything else to add, man. That you just called it. So make sure you're there. Get your tickets now, and I will look forward to seeing you. Until the next episode of the Raad Life, remember, here's the example. Scott's sitting right here. Your life on your own terms. Freedom always.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you being here, man.